Elon, buddy, what do you mean by that? What are you talking about, buddy? Huh? What's so interesting to you there? Huh? A couple months following the complete mental breakdown of Kanye West, the artist known as Ye, and the deletion of his Twitter account and the revocation of free speech that Elon Musk provided to him, Elon has decided to take up the reins himself and hop on the horse of, you guessed it, anti-Semitism. And Elon Musk himself has declared DEFCON 3 on, who is it? That's right, Jews. You may be wondering to yourself, Shark, I wonder what Elon has been up to. Well, the answer is that he is completely he is upset about what Jewish organizations have done to Twitter. He is like, they have destroyed Twitter. They've done it. Now, I want to take a look at this, okay? Take a look at this because this is super interesting. Recently, a couple of days ago, Elon Musk said specifically that he is tired of the ADL. ADL, known as the Anti-Defamation League, they are a Jewish organization that fights anti-Semitism, that fights a lot of hate speech and things along those lines, basically, right? Around the country and in other countries as well. Nazi posting on Maine. Jews can't catch a break. Now, in this video, I want to make something clear. Am I pro ADL? No. ADL isn't that great. ADL is anti-BDS. ADL does not care about Palestinian people. It is actively harmful to Palestinian people for fun. The ADL is pro-Israeli occupation of Palestine and Jerusalem. Like, the ADL are not good. The ADL like conflate being against the Jewish state, the state of Israel, just crawling across the Middle East and
this meme is very real,
soaking up other countries' land. I don't really like the ADL like that. But what I will say is that the ADL does do good work on anti-Semitism a decent amount of the time. Definitely not all the time, but a decent amount of the time. And when it comes to Twitter, I think they do a pretty decent job on calling out, generally, Elon's bullshit, okay? Elon's completely unhinged, yes. Yes, if you don't know what BDS is, it's boycott, divestment, and sanctions. It's basically a way for you to protest against the state of Israel for committing war crimes against Palestinians, especially in Gaza. So that's it, all right? I'm gonna take a look at this really quick, all right? Elon, the other day, blamed the ADL and other anti-hate speech organizations for telling people that Twitter loves hate speech too much, which is true. Elon blames the ADL for the 60% decline in sales of ad revenue on Twitter, okay? Twitter owner Elon Musk threatened to sue the ADL even for claiming that the nonprofit organization's statements about rising hate speech on the social media platform have torpedoed X's advertising revenue. This is what he did the other day. To be super clear, guys, out of nowhere, to be super clear, I don't like anti-Semitism. Now, for me personally, I don't really have to make tweets like this where I'm like, guys, just so you know, I'm not with those anti-Semite guys. I'm not like them, okay? I'm completely different. This is what he tweeted this when ban the ADL was trending, and he was liking tweets that said ban the ADL because he believes that the ADL tells people that Twitter is bad for Jewish people, and that makes him upset because he wants money. Not because he actually cares about Jewish people at all. I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually. Oh, don't look at Mike, admitted rapist Cernovich. Listen, that's a very curious thing. It's proven that Democratic groups buy bots to falsely smear people via association. How many anti-Semitic accounts are real versus how many are funded and operated by the DNC to create fear and division? Guys. It's not that conservatives have leaned into anti-Semitism. It's that the DNC makes accounts that look like us, and they make tweets that say that they hate Jewish people. Guys, you gotta understand. It ain't really us. And he responded, it's impossible to tell with unverified accounts whether you're dealing with a small or large number of people. Mind you, a lot of bots are verified because people have their accounts stolen and then they just get verification. But anyways, as sophisticated bots are virtually indistinguishable from humans. I can't do it. I wanted to do an account search on Elon Musk where he just says interesting. Wait. No, I can't find it. I wanted to find it so bad. Bro, he like 90% of his tweets are interesting, concerning, interesting. Looking into this. It's true. They are indistinguishable from bots. Indistinguishable. Somebody, a penny, literally a penny, responded and was like, who was questioning this? He said, since the acquisition, the ADL has been trying to kill this platform by falsely accusing it and me of being anti-Semitic. Our US advertiser revenue is down 60%, primarily due to pressure on advertisers by the ADL, and that's what advertisers tell us. So they almost succeeded in killing X in Twitter. The X, it's X/Twitter. Will you take action against these false accusations? If it continues, we will have no choice but to file a defamation lawsuit against the Anti-Defamation League. If they lose the defamation suit, we will insist that they drop the anti part of their name, since obviously... Okay, so, here's a really curious thing, okay, that some people picked up on. Some of the smartest cookies in the audience may have picked up on, and if you're not, don't feel bad, okay? You still got some learning to do. It's fine. Musk is now claiming that Twitter's ad revenue is down 60%. This is a little while after he claimed that it was actually down 50% and getting better. But he's been like, oh yeah, it's bad, but it's getting better. It's like getting so much better, guys. I promise you, people are coming back. They're coming right back to Twitter. They want to spend ads here now, totally. But now he's saying it's down 60%. And not 50% anymore. What do you guys think? Do you think that Twitter's ad revenue is bouncing back? Because the number that he keeps saying of the money they're losing just keeps getting bigger. I don't think that Twitter really has that much longer in it. Please do. It would be mad funny. Interesting. That's very interesting. It's so interesting. In fact. It's one of the most interesting things, okay? The ADL said, as a matter of policy, does not comment on legal threats, but the organization noted it recently met with ex-leadership, including the new CEO, Linda, who Musk hired to help revive ad revenue. So basically, what Elon is saying at the moment comes right after the new CEO tried to smooth things over with Jewish people and Jewish organizations so that Twitter won't be looked at as like a hate speech hellhole that nobody wants to spend money at all. Okay, like Linda's actually trying, and Elon is just throwing everything away, which is, I think, incredibly funny. If you ask me, it's super funny. Saying in a post on X, a strong and productive partnership is built on good intentions and candor. That's her talking about the ADL. Meanwhile, Musk, the platform's owner, recently liked and engaged with a series of tweets and posts criticizing the organization. A hashtag ban the ADL campaign was spread on Twitter, and the ADL accused Musk of lifting the campaign. And now, some people may be like, are you sure that Elon is really boosting this campaign? Well, we'll talk about this in just a moment longer in this video. But so stick with me. We'll talk about that, because he's going to say that that's a lie, but I think that we have some information to, say otherwise. But let's give it some time, okay? The ADL is unsurprised yet undeterred that anti-Semites, white supremacists, and conspiracy theorists, and all other trolls have launched a coordinated attack on our organization, right? And this is super fun, okay? In one instance, so this isn't the first time that Elon has threatened to sue an anti-hate speech organization for saying that Twitter is really bad when it comes to hate speech. He has actually gone up against the CCDH, which is another anti-hate speech organization that he has actually sued specifically recently. Let me find this for you. Here it is. Twitter sues hate speech watchdog following through on its litigation threats. Twitter has sued the Center for Countering Digital Hate. Can you imagine That you're somebody who has to sue an organization called the Center for Countering Digital Hate, a nonprofit group that has criticized the company's handling of hate speech following through on its litigation threat that was made publicly just hours beforehand. The lawsuit filed Monday in San Francisco federal court accuses the CCDH of deliberately trying to drive advertisers away from Twitter, recently rebranded as X. I don't know, man. It's just like, it's just so interesting that like nobody wants to spend money on Twitter anymore because he's just allowed the worst human beings possible just run rampant on the site. Like, how in the world he's going to sit here and call people like the ADL or the CCDH bad actors when he's letting people like Nick Fuentes, like Kanye West, like so many other people do such heinous things on the site. He's going to sit here and try and tell you and try to convince you that hate speech is actually down on Twitter. Now, I completely trust his reading of the situation, that he believes that hate speech is down on Twitter. The reason being is because he's changed what hate speech means on Twitter. I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but like the T-slur against trans people is now completely legal and fine to say on Twitter. That's no longer considered hate speech. Purposefully misgendering and calling the wrong name of trans people is no longer hate speech. Saying that you want to eradicate transgenderism is no longer hate speech on Twitter. All right, calling black people the N-word in many instances is not hate speech on Twitter. Saying that you should be able to, commit crimes against memorials to the deaths of people who died to hate crimes is now no longer hate speech on Twitter. All of these things are no longer considered hate speech on Twitter. So yeah, I completely understand that he believes hate speech is down on Twitter because he completely removed what hate speech is on Twitter. Doesn't make any sense. I remember where I was recommended a literal neo-Nazi account. Remember for my frogs that were on Twitter, remember like something Renaissance or something? The guy with like the statue PFP who was always like, this is the world where black people are allowed to remain around the white people. And it was just like a black person doing like a TikTok prank where they were like dancing on a table or something in public, and it was really annoying. This is what they took from you, right? It's crazy stuff. It's just like, oh, Chinese people are 10,000 years behind the rest of the world. And it's just like a Chinese person cooking a rabbit. Like Twitter has gone crazy. It's gone crazy, dude. It's gone absolutely crazy. Yeah, the ketamine be hitting. It's hitting hard. It's hitting hard, right? I mean, how in the world can Elon sit here and say that his, like, the website doesn't promote anti-Semitism when he literally unbanned everybody who was banned for anti-Semitism and then changed the definition of what anti-Semitism means on the site? Like, you can't sit here and tell me that you're doing a good job when that's the shit that you pull. People who are banned for basically just making money off of hate speech are not only back on Twitter, but are now making tens of thousands of dollars a month based on hate speech. Now, so because online sites benefit from controversy. If you are more controversial, or if you are more hateful, if you are more derogatory, if you incite people to say something, then you'll get more clicks, views, and impressions. And now Twitter pays you for clicks, views, and impressions. Listen, think about this for a moment. Do you think that it'll lead to good things with Twitter users being paid to cause controversy on Twitter? Not only were people able to like do insane crap back then, but not get paid for it. Now they do the same things and worse and more often because they get paid for it. I see crazy tweets on my For You page these days. I have Tim Pool on my For You page these days. I don't follow Tim Pool or anybody like him at all. I'm not in the same circles as Tim Pool in the slightest. But he still shows up on my timeline because Elon wants to promote those types of people. He wants people like Tim Pool, like Joe Rogan, like Matt Walsh. These are people that he likes and he follows, and he like end the wokeness. These are these types of people who he wants you to see and who you want to boost because he thinks that those people are the ones that are the free speech warriors. Those are the people that he likes, right? And those are the people who he thinks are going to stand up to well, what is it? The woke mind virus. He recently did an interview where he said that he even bought Twitter because his own daughter, if you didn't know, he has a trans daughter who disowned him because he's really shitty to trans people and literally made hatred towards trans people not only legal but profitable on Twitter. So she doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. Good on her. Yes, good on her. 100%. Cut terrible people out of your life. She doesn't need him at all. So yes, Mr. Mux had initially rushed to embrace the news when Jenna transitioned at 16, but when she later cut him out of her life entirely, he knew that he had a fight on his hands, a battle which would eventually culminate in the world's richest man buying Twitter for $44 billion. The Tesla owner believed his child had radically transformed by a liberal school that she attended in California. She went beyond socialism to being full communist and thinking that anyone rich is evil. Based. True. Oh my, I mean, Tesla factories are some of the worst factories in the country for workplace injuries and worse in the country for benefits for the workers. So yes, absolutely, you're a pretty bad person. Bro sexually harassed so many of his workers. Bro actually impregnates almost every single woman, tries to impregnate like every single woman that works under him. It's crazy. Yeah, fuck this guy. Fuck that guy entirely. Unless the woke mind virus, which is fundamentally anti-science, anti-merit, and anti-human in general. Now listen to this, guys. Is stopped, civilization will never become multiplanetary. Guys, you ever think about how wokeness stops us from living on Mars? You ever think about how wokeness stops us from living on like Jupiter and Venus? You ever think about that? I think about it all the time. Why is he such a nerd? He's such a fucking loser. It's great. Guys, if we keep allowing wokeness to like survive, then we'll like never be on Mars. So stop being woke, guys. It's like bad for us. What a fucking dork. Oh man, what the hell? And all of this, okay, mind you, all of this is while he's in a public battle against anti-hate speech organizations, calling out his platform for just being pro-hate speech. And also, as we talked about in the last video that we did about Twitter, maybe even pro-PDF, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion personally. He made a tweet recently that said, to clear our platform's name on the matter of anti-Semitism, it looks like we have no choice but to file a defamation lawsuit against the Anti-Defamation League. Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. You're right. It is ironic. It's super ironic. It's so ironic, in fact, that just right after he said this, 2 brands suspended advertising on Twitter because their ads appeared to pro-Nazi content. Ironic. So 2 more. Hey, make that 62% drop. It's so ironic. At least 2 brands said that they will suspend advertising on Twitter, the platform formerly known as Twitter, after their ads of those and other companies were run on an account promoting fascism. The issue came less than a week after Linda publicly affirmed the company's commitment to brand safety. A week? That didn't even last a week. Ads including Adobe, Gilead Science, the University of Maryland's football team, the New York University Lagoon Hospital, and NCTA, the Internet and Television Association, were run alongside tweets from an account that had garnered hundreds of thousands of views promoting fascism and Nazism. Spokesman for the NCTA, a pharmaceutical company, Gilead, said that they immediately paused their ad spending on Twitter after CNN flagged their ads on a pro-Nazi account. It's so ironic. It's one of the most ironic things ever. Anyways, he believes that we should ban the ADL. Okay, he still believes that we should ban the ADL because of all of this. It's just absolutely crazy. It's crazy. And if you want to know what his accusation against the Center for Countering Hate Speech Online was, it specifically claims the CCDH violated the platform's terms of service, the federal hacking laws, by scraping data from the company's platform and by encouraging an unnamed individual to improperly collect information about Twitter that it had provided to a third-party brand for monitoring. Basically, they got information that Twitter gave out, and he's really mad that they looked at it. So I don't know that'll go really well. That'll go really, really well for them. It's gonna be so good. Moving on a little bit, okay? Because it actually just gets worse. All right? It actually just gets worse. While he's in the throes of a public fight with people who don't like hate speech, he didn't talk that much. Remember this tweet where he just randomly said, "Hey guys, just to be clear, I really don't like anti-Semitism," that just came out of nowhere? Well, it actually didn't come out of nowhere, because during the big anti-ADL, anti-hate speech organization sort of push on Twitter that a lot of conservatives were pushing, he actually didn't necessarily keep entirely quiet. He even leaned into it a little bit by watching everything that was going on and shared his 2 cents by liking a bunch of tweets that were incredibly curious. We don't believe you, my guy? Listen, you're going to jail. Okay? You're going to jail. On Thursday, a number of accounts began tweeting #BanTheADL, calling for Musk to remove the Anti-Defamation League from the site. The ADL is a civil rights organization focused on combating anti-Semitism and extremism. Momentum for the action seems to have been stirred by a meeting earlier this week between the ADL's director and the new CEO of Twitter. The pair discussed how to curb hate speech and toxic propaganda that flourished on Twitter ever since Musk took over last year. This is the guy, he said, "I've had a very productive conversation with Twitter. No one really cares." There's this guy who's get it to number 1, #BanTheADL. This is trending with Cardi B and Keith and Kemp. Very curious stuff. Keith Woods, another conservative commentator. #BanTheADL continues to dominate X. "We all supported Elon Musk and his promises to restore free speech, but there is no hope of a free platform that collaborates with an anti-white hate group. Elon needs to listen to the people and stand up to the ADL." Now, let's put on our thinking caps, everyone. What in the world do you think that the ADL has done that would consider them anti-white? Color me surprised. That's so curious, isn't it? What do you think they've done to be considered anti-white? Being against anti-Jewish propaganda? Maybe talking about white supremacy? Possibly. It's just so curious. It's so curious. It's one of the most curious things. Yes, come on, Elon, we have our trust in you. Not so much Linda, who wants to muzzle us. Free speech, but not free reach is not the deal you promised. Oh my gosh. They want to say anti-Semitism and also for it to be on your timeline as well. Sucks because Elon loves money more than free speech. No, they're starting to get it. Rich man isn't actually like us. That's crazy. Who could have seen this coming? Flippin' heck. Nearly burnt it. #BanTheADL. We need BanTheADL tweets to go even further. And if you think Elon, like I said, if you think Elon kept his nose clean, obviously not, because he's so fucking stupid, he can't even possibly comprehend not being a part of something like this. So yes, he jumped in a bit. Remember that guy who called the ADL anti-white for being anti-Semitism? Elon liked his tweet. He loves his tweet. "Elon likes my tweet calling to ban the ADL. The people have spoken. We want free speech." ADL's favorite tactic is financially blackmail social media companies into removing free speech on their platforms. They even orchestrated in the advertiser boycott of Tucker Carlson. Why would they have a platform on X to hold Elon Musk to ransom? It's time to ban the ADL, which doesn't even make any sense, because if they genuinely cared about free speech, the ADL should be able to say this. If they believed what they actually try to sell you about free speech, then they would say that, oh, we love the ADL being here because then we can debate them on the views that we think are harmful. We can then have an open and honest conversation about these types of things. We can, because free speech is really not for the speech that you like, but for the speech that you don't like. They would be fighting tooth and nail to keep ADL on the platform, but they're not. It's so curious. It's almost like they never actually cared about the anti-Semitism, and they never actually cared about free speech. What they care about is spreading their toxic ideology. What they care about is calling for more crimes against minorities and calling it anti-white when you fight back against it, because they think that this is just whiteness as it is. I don't personally think that being white in and of itself should mean that you should be like anti-minority like that, anti-Jewish, black women. I don't think so personally, but these people do. It really gives you a really interesting insight into what they mean when they say anti-white, and they try to make it seem like they say this. They mean the same things that we do when we say things like anti-black, anti-woman, anti-minority, things along those lines. But it's not. It's not the same. It's not the same at all, is it? Holocaust revisionism based, saying that that's wrong. That needs to be banned, apparently, in these people's minds. And Elon is perfectly fine with it, it seems, because he's liking those types of tweets. Not only did he like it, he also responded to it. As soon as Elon took over Twitter, the ADL got to work in ensuring his promise of free speech on the site would not come to fruition. And he responded and he said ADL has tried very hard to strangle Twitter. Oh, how incredible. He also liked the straight up anti-Jewish post earlier. Oh no. What the fuck is this? What is this? Jews used to be very supportive of free speech, but the younger generation is not. Some background on the ADL debates: religious divide on campus over diversity and inclusion, protecting citizens' free speech rights, promoting inclusive society, white evangelical. Don't you think it's super curious that like specifically race is mentioned with like evangelical multiple times? Catholic, non-white Protestant, unaffiliated, non-Christian religion, Jewish people. 65% of Jewish college students support censorship. 19% of Mormon college students support censorship. And Elon Musk with the exclamation point. Okay. Elon, buddy, what do you mean by that? What are you talking about, buddy? Huh? What's so interesting to you there? Huh? Are the Jews just like, I guess he's just going straight forward. The Jews are trying to cancel Twitter. I did everything right and the Jews still canceled me. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it. The funniest thing is that if Elon didn't post as much as he did, he would have way more advertisers on the platform. Oh yeah, if Elon didn't tweet as much as he, because when it comes to these platforms, when it comes to these companies never actually cared about minorities. These companies would be pro-slavery if it would make them money. Many of these companies were pro-slavery if they've been around long enough because it did make them money. They couldn't care less about minorities. People do. Companies don't. People care about people. Companies care about money. All right. So if these companies could make money off of hanging black people, then they would be doing it any day of the week because they care about profit, not human beings. Companies aren't your friends. All right. They would do it any day of the week. If they could make money by selling women into slavery, then they'd be doing it any day of the week because they like money. Okay. They have no values besides dollars. All right. That's it. And so, no, I don't trust any of these companies when they're like, we're so pro free speech. We're so pro the minority. No, they're not. Never have been. Never will be. What they care about is the way that they look. All right. And it looks bad to be associated with people like Elon Musk because Elon Musk makes you look bad. At the end of the day, what they care about is that Elon doesn't look good to their customers and they don't want to be associated with somebody so controversial. And it's really hard to be able to separate and put distance between yourself and the hatred that you like make money off of and you promote your content on when it's somebody as well known, as boisterous, as loud, and as in your face as Elon, because Elon will never let you forget it. Okay. And so it's very easy because Elon is just a catalyst of everything wrong with the site, because he's he's making the site worse because he's just a bad person. And so it's very hard to be able to be like, oh yeah, listen, we don't support that too much, when Elon's the one putting your tweets on those things. And you can easily see Elon liking those tweets and being all about it. If he was more silent, it would be way more easy for people, just for advertisers not to say much about it. Look at YouTube. YouTube is able to get away with a lot of promoting and giving money to hate speech because YouTube doesn't have some loud, shitty, stupid fuckwad who's making everyone at the company look bad with every single thing that they say. They don't. And so because of that, YouTube for years was able to get away with giving money to neo-Nazis, racists, rapists, child predators, all of these types of people, abusers. It doesn't matter who or what they did. YouTube was able to throw ads on, God knows what, until someone big enough fucked around hard enough and they had to change the rules. That's why they were able to give money to people like Alex Jones and guys, there was a literal Klansman. There was a Klansman Grand Wizard who had a YouTube channel who talked about how we need to get who we need to get blacks out of the countries, Jews from places of power, non-Christians from government, and women out of the workplace. Richard Spencer he did, well-known giga racist. What was it called? It was called American Renaissance, right? There's this neo-Nazi James Alsop, yeah, him as well. There was a thing called American Renaissance that was ran by those pricks. Yeah, there was a YouTube channel called American Renaissance who made anti-minority content, who was a literal KKK grand with Jared Taylor. Thank you. Who was a grand wizard or friends with grand wizards who was making content and getting money on YouTube. And that's what YouTube was able to do. Okay. It does not matter. They do not care. They want you dead and to make money off of it. I was remember back in 2016 where literal racist, rapists, and Nazis were able to make money on YouTube. And then, do you know how little that narrows it down? I'm sorry. You're right. So true. Exactly. Rich Nazis are common. Rich terminally online Nazis are different beasts, right? It's crazy. So yeah, Elon is completely destroying the website. And he's gone to now, just like how ugly people with no personalities do, once they start failing and everybody starts witnessing them failing, they then go on to pick up bigotry because it's an easy way to make money and shift the blame to someone else or a group of them against me and us because they don't want what we do because they have their agenda and we are for the people, our people, the people, real people, right? So it's super easy to do that. Same, it's very, very curious, ugly people with no personalities doing it all over again. And I hope he loses all of the money he put into Twitter and 10 times more than that, because he's a horrible human being who makes minorities' lives worse online, trying to bring us back to some sort of 2008 internet where slurs and hatred and bigotry and death threats and all this type of stuff were just commonplace. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. His failure is funny, and I hope you all like the video. There's one more meme. The final meme of this video. Okay? And you may be like, Shark, what more can you add to this dumpster fire? And I'm going to tell you, hope. There's hope. Okay? Just as you may be like, he's destroying it himself, don't worry. Those civil rights groups that are anti-hate speech and anti-Elon Musk because he's pro-hate speech, they're fighting back. They're taking the fight to him. All right? Just as you may think that this rich man will be able to get away with all the crimes, not anymore, because everything is now in the light. The civil rights groups are now mounting a counter offensive against Elon Musk. What they're doing is taking to their Twitter accounts and using their platforms that they have to then double down on getting with advertisers that are still advertising on Twitter and telling them to not advertise on Twitter, and documenting their ads to those media, to those companies, playing by neo-Nazi, racist, anti-trans, anti-gay, anti-black tweets that are promoted by Elon Musk to get them to finally drop their ads. There's still a decent amount of advertisers on Twitter. A 60% drop is not good enough. It should be a 100% drop because of what he's done to this platform, and he deserves it. He has fucked around, and he is now finding out, because some of those 2 extra advertisers that left, a lot of the reason for why they left was based off of what those organizations are doing to show people that to show those companies that their ads are playing on literal neo-Nazi bullshit, and Twitter is still last on the list by every single civil rights organization when it comes to hate speech online. There's a good reason for that. And also be wary if you have children, because some of their pictures may end up on there and Elon may do literally nothing about it. Check out the last video we made on that. Question: what will happen when that does come to fruition? Will Twitter just cease to be? Yeah, he'll either sell it or just close it. He seems like the type to want to close it simply because he hates all of us, and and everybody who's like on Twitter and uses it hates his guts. That's why, I mean, like, I see tweets all the time. Have you guys seen this? There will be like a 300,000 like tweet that'll get deleted like right after it goes like mega popular, of somebody telling Elon to kill himself. And that shit is so funny. There's this like deep fried image of somebody pointing a gun at Elon on the street and him going, "Whoa," and that gets posts. And it's like, I want Elon, and then it's like space, like, and then 4 asterisks to like blank out a 4-letter word, but we're not sure what word that is. Nobody likes him. I think he's the type. I think he's petty enough to just close the entire site and say, fuck you, your fandoms, the communities that you were in. All of you are going to suffer with me because none of you liked me. He seems petty enough to do something like that. I can easily see it. But what in the dream scenarios that he sells it to like a normal person who then like bans all the insane people who was on the site because Elon and his ilk can't make money for people because they're too insane, they're too controversial, they're too shitty, and nobody wants to be with them. Elon's that kid to be like, if I can't have it, no one can. Yeah, 100%. He's just a goofball. He's terrible. Cringe. I hope it hurts. Fuck you, Elon. Asterisk. Ooh, yeah, this is the one. That's the one. You tweet this out, it'll get like 300,000 likes on Twitter. I promise you. Everybody hates this man. Everyone hates this man. He's constantly getting clowned on. Him and his crew get clowned on so much that he had to add a feature to hide your shame if you buy Twitter Blue. Like, they added a feature that you can hide your check mark now, because everybody who buys a check mark gets clowned on so fucking hard that they no longer want to use the app anymore. So they made it so you can hide it, so people won't instantly be able to tell that you're paying for Twitter. Oh yeah, people hate him way more than Bezos. I mean, like, I can't say that I hate him more than Bezos. They both hate working class people and abuse them, and that's why they're rich. But I mean, you know, they're at that point we're having like a mid off. You know, at that point we're having like a guillotine off, and honestly, I don't care to have it. Not now, at least. Thank you, Elon. Very uncool. Come here. Oh. Hi. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.